The New York Rangers beat the Philadelphia Flyers 1-0 in overtime, thanks to a goal by Chris Kreider. And this was a game the Rangers deserved to get the 2 points. They were clearly the better team. Carter Hart really played well for the Flyers. The Rangers hit some posts. Igor wasn't tested a whole lot, but made some really key saves at the end of regulation, a little bit in overtime. So when Igor was needed, he made some pretty good saves. But the Rangers really played well. The Flyers, not the most talented team. Rangers definitely have a lot more talent, but the Rangers, coming off the West Coast trip, quick turnaround, and they looked good. Because you never know how that could go first game back. But they looked really good. It was a frustrating game because really the Rangers should have won this handily. It's a bit of bad luck. It's a bit of maybe not burying the puck when you have the chances to. But hey, Chris Kreider gets the game winner in overtime, and I have to kind of shut my mouth as far as not loving that Kreider gets that first opportunity in overtime. I feel like overtime is kind of more of a Panarin thing than a Kreider thing. What was annoying was that Zibanejad in overtime was not winning the draws, and it's like, why not go Trocheck? Trocheck is definitely a better face-off guy. Not that Zibanejad is bad. He's okay. But anyway, doesn't matter. As Zibanejad finds Kreider for the breakaway, and he goes backhand on Carter Hart. Nice little move, gets the winner. And so now the Rangers improved to 6-3-2. So now it's a 3-game winning streak. They're coming along. This was a good game. Still no Filip Chytil or Vitaly Kravtsov. Kravtsov is going to be out at least a week. I suspect he probably got a concussion as well in Dallas. Chytil seems close. I hope Chytil comes back. And if he does come back sooner than later, I say this a lot, but Ryan Reeves should be the healthy scratch. Ryan Reeves, he can't really quite keep up with the play. Look, I think he's a good guy to have in the clubhouse and the locker room, I should say. Like a good team guy. I definitely think that there is an effect there, but on ice wise, not really. But again, it's a conversation for another day. But if Chytil comes back, I guess I am curious to see who the scratch would be. Just because Julien Gauthier, I really feel like has acquitted himself pretty well. Jimmy Vesey has been better of late, I feel, after a slow start. And I know that, Gallant trusts Ryan Carpenter. So, I think there's certainly a chance that Reeves would be that healthy scratch. But again, that's a conversation for another day. Keeping it on sort of players that I wish, this is a player that's going to stay in the lineup, but I wish got less ice time, Jacob Trouba. Jacob Trouba makes a lot of key mistakes that either lead to penalties or goals against. We saw it against the Lightning last year. We've seen it a lot. And I don't, look, I didn't agree with him being named captain, but I don't necessarily think that that's the reason. But this is stuff that we've seen from Trouba. If we're being honest about it, we've seen Jacob Trouba have those. No, he's not the fastest skater. There's just, in the offensive zone, it's just the play kind of dies. And I don't understand, he should not be on the second power play unit. There's not that the second power play unit gets that much ice time, but there's other guys that should be in there over Trouba. So for me, he's someone I'm keeping my eye on. I thought Braden Schneider had a nice game. I think Braden Schneider had a nice game. He was paired with K'Andre Miller at certain times, so they did do that. Where at times it was Jones, Trouba, and Miller Schneider. I thought Braden Schneider has gotten better after a slow start for him. K'Andre Miller I thought was better in this game too. And for the Rangers, just a lot of offensive zone time, and that a lot of thanks to Kaapo Kakko. Kakko, it's frustrating. I almost feel like at this point, he may never put up, gaudy point totals, but he really is a good hockey player, a good, strong two-way player who, if you just watch, his puck possession's great. He's very strong on the puck. This is, he was really good, Kakko, and I hope he stays healthy. I hope he continues to get an opportunity, to get top minutes, and that's happening. So I think Kakko deserves credit. When you talk about players in this game, obviously you're going to talk about Kreider, who got the game winner. You're going to talk about Shesterkin because he got the shutout. But I think Kakko, for me, beyond that, might have been the best player for the Rangers. Thought he was really good, really consistent, and just, 4 shots on goal, a couple hits. Was kind of all over the place, which is a good thing. And, for the Rangers, the second period was really a strong one for the Rangers. The first period, they were trying to kind of find their way a bit. Kreider does take a holding penalty at 8:45. Rangers kill it off. Rangers penalty kill does a nice job in this game. Power play, not as much. There was zone time, but the power play wasn't successful. But the Rangers, towards the end of the period, they started to find themselves. And then they really carried it into the second period. The Rangers outshot the Flyers 14-4 in the second. That was where they really got going, and it was unfortunate they didn't score. Rangers had a power play as Kakko was tripped at 6:47 by Wade Allison. Rangers power play unsuccessful. Then Panarin, it's called roughing on Justin Braun. So Justin Braun in his first game back, after he was on the Rangers last year at the trade deadline, played a lot in the postseason, and was, had been on the Flyers before that. So he goes back to the Flyers, and Panarin takes that penalty. Yeah, I feel like Panarin, has taken penalties this year where he wasn't really a guy that took too many, but it's something I've noticed. But the Rangers penalty kill does a good job. Then there is rough stuff at the end of the second period where the Flyers end up on the power play. There's penalties that go to Sanheim and Hayes and Gauthier and Lindgren, but it's a 4 minutes on Lindgren, which gives the Flyers the power play. Not sure how they really came to that conclusion. Really should have been even, but the Rangers do kill that off. And the Rangers get a couple of power plays themselves in the third. Justin Braun trips Trocheck, but the Rangers don't score. And then at 15:25, Tony DeAngelo has a delay of game penalty. They also missed a delay of game penalty with 30 seconds left on that penalty to DeAngelo. There was another one, but they didn't call it. So we eventually got, and look, Igor made some good saves at the end of regulation. It got a little bit scary there. But in overtime, Rangers played well, had their chances, and they finally cashed in on a play where, that's what happens in 3-on-3 overtime, where there's a lot of odd man rushes, and the Flyers had a chance, and because they didn't score, it goes wide. It goes around to Mika, and he finds Kreider, who goes in on a breakaway. Now, mind you, Kreider had a similar chance earlier in the game, but, was unsuccessful. But this time he scores. Kreider, nice backhand goal. It's his fourth goal of the season, assisted by Zibanejad, and the Rangers win it 1-0 against the Flyers. John Tortorella, the Rangers were the better team that deserved to win, but this is kind of Torts hockey. And, they don't allow that many good chances, but they kind of did. I guess you could say that the shot totals were maybe slightly, not, a little misleading, but not so much. And that's kind of the funny thing is this year, the Rangers are definitely playing better hockey. I mean, if you want to compare the first 10 or so games this year to last year, where the Rangers had, Igor was playing out of his mind, the Rangers are playing pretty good hockey. There was some stinkers. The Columbus game stands out. The Winnipeg game wasn't great, but it was understandable. The Sharks' third period was bad. We can think about some times that they weren't really great this year, but now 6-3-2. They continue the homestand, and next up is the Boston Bruins. And the Bruins are 9-1 this year, which not many people expected. They've gotten healthier, more quickly. Where, for example, Brad Marchand, he was supposed to still be out at this point. He's back already. Charlie McAvoy, he's still out, as far as I know. McAvoy, so it's impressive what they're doing. David Krejci comes back to the Bruins. It's been an Allmark-Swayman combination. We'll see who's in net against the Rangers. I suspect it might be Swayman, but who knows? And so, the Bruins are 9-1. But although I feel like the Rangers, I feel good about their chances, even though the Bruins have such a good record. It's going to be tough. The Rangers, it was meaningless, but they had a couple games against them in the preseason, and the one that comes to mind at the Garden, the Rangers played a very sloppy game, very much so. So they know what they're up against, and the Bruins have the record to do. So I think the Rangers will be prepared. I feel confident going into this game, but it should be a pretty close game. Maybe it even goes to overtime. I wouldn't be totally shocked by that. The Rangers will also be debuting their new jerseys, so that'll be interesting to see how those look, the new Liberty jerseys. But, this should be an exciting one. Bruins at the Rangers, two of the better teams in the league. Boston is off to an amazing start, and they have a 6-game winning streak. The Rangers are hoping to end their winning streak while continuing theirs. Again, Rangers win it 1-0 in overtime against the Philadelphia Flyers on a goal by Chris Kreider.